Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I'm going to be talking about all of the information that has come out about Black Ops 2 over the past couple of months, because as you guys know, Black Ops 2 is now officially confirmed. There's been a release trailer, there's been tons of multiplayer leaked information, and there's been a bit of an info drop about single player. So all of this information has come out into the public eye for us to have a look at, and you know, I wanted to do a video about what I think about it, because it's quite a significant change from what we used to with Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is known for being quite a safe game. You know, they do pretty much the same thing every year, do virtually the same multiplayer, do a very short single player, repackage it and send it out to market, and people buy it. And that's the thing, you know, it's such a very popular game as it is. The switch up and the change to a futuristic setting really is something quite interesting, because they've taken a bit of a gamble. But before I get too deep into the Black Ops 2 stuff, I want to quickly mention this gameplay. Now, this is, I think, the best domination comeback I've had in Black Ops. Modern Warfare 3, sorry, getting confused already. But yeah, we were 120 points to 59 down, double capped, and we came back and won the game. That is, it's fantastic. It very rarely happens in Modern Warfare 3, or any Call of Duty for that matter, but we really did very well to be able to come back and win the game. I think it's just me and James in this lobby, so you know, we're not relying on a full party. There's two of us that we managed to carry the team through, and it's a fantastic game to watch in the background while I talk about Black Ops 2. So that's the gameplay, but let's pile straight in to Black Ops 2. Now, the great thing about all the Black Ops 2 information that I've seen over the past couple of weeks is the fact that Treyarch seem to be taking risks and seem to be trying to move the series forward. Because like I said earlier, Call of Duty has basically been exactly the same since COD 4. I mean, perk-based multiplayer, no vehicles apart from the abomination of World at War. Very simple, short campaign that's just very linear. You follow the storyline and then you plunge into multiplayer, and that's it. And that was the Call of Duty experience, and people loved that and people bought it. But what Treyarch have done is, what they appear to be doing anyway, is really trying to ramp up what you can actually do in Call of Duty, and that's fantastic. And the first part of this, obviously, is the futuristic setting. Now, when I first watched the trailer, I just thought it was like Metal Gear Solid 4. I just thought, oh, why have they done this? Why are they doing this? What's the point? You know, are they going to really gain anything from this? But the more I sat down and actually thought about what Treyarch are thinking of, the more I actually like it. Because if you set your game, for example, in the 60s or even in modern times, you're constrained by the technology that was available at that time, and you can't really just throw in, you know, intergalactic warfare into a 1960s game, for example, because it doesn't really make sense, you know, unless you're doing a flip-up sort of thing. But as, you know, Call of Duty tries to keep it fairly plausible, doing that in the 1960s or in the Cold War wouldn't really work. But by taking the story forward into the future, and I think it goes from 1980 to 2025. There's a flashback sequence in 1980, but I think the most part of the game is in the modern 2025 setting. By doing that, you free up so many more possibilities, because whilst people have a rough idea of where technology is going to go, I mean, there are things in development that will be there in 2025, for example, in the military. There's always this aura of the unknown about the future, and that's something that Treyarch really can use to their advantage, because it enables them to go a little bit mad. In a good way, obviously, not just to go insane and create anything, but it enables them to get as creative as their minds allow them to. So they can come up with all these fantastic new weapons and kill streaks and ideas that really enable you to get a much more varied experience from Call of Duty. So I'm really hoping that all of this new futuristic stuff sees a massive increase in cool kill streaks and cool weapons, and that is something we're definitely going to see, because in the reveal trailer, there's sort of a 3-barreled shotgun with a sniper scope on. You know, that's what it looks like. I mean, it blew my mind anyway. That looks really cool. So if that's something that they are teasing in the reveal trailer, imagine what they're going to be teasing and showing us with 2 or 3 weeks to go before release. I mean, that is really fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all of these cool futuristic-y things they get into the game. But let's talk a little bit about the things we know more concrete, you know, less on the speculation of what weapons are going to be on the game, more about what will actually be in single player. Now, I've got a source here which is actually a forum tweet or a blog tweet from a guy who works for Activision. It's Dan One of Swords Amric. Now, he tweeted basically all of this new insider, in inverted commas, Black Ops 2 information, but I think it was the information that was cleared to release, and obviously he would be allowed to release it. He wouldn't just completely spoon all of Treyarch's hard work and release information they didn't want to. But there's some very, very interesting things here. Like I've said earlier, the campaign will be split between the 1980s and a second Cold War, which is in the year 2025. Now, apparently, your main enemy in this is China, and you're supposed to be fighting for precious metals and all of these sorts of things. Obviously, as technology advances, the requirements to build that technology go through the roof, so you need all of these specialised materials, and there's only a finite amount of these specialised materials in there, so obviously that will cause war, and that is resources have caused war since men walked around it with spears and bows and arrows. People have always fought over resources, so the premise for conflict is plausible. People will fight over oil. People have fought over, fishing. People fought over that, so it's fairly plausible that people could fight over precious metals. But the really interesting thing is not where the campaign is set, but what you can actually do in the campaign. I mean, there's some absolutely fantastic things that have been launched. For the first time in Call of Duty history, your actions during the campaign will affect your future. For example, if you fail a mission, sometimes your failure will cause someone to die and they will be gone permanently forever. So this takes a big step towards the more interactive style of campaign, similar to Mass Effect 3, where your actions actually have an impact. Because every single Call of Duty campaign in the past has been, you basically do a linear storyline. If you die, respawn at the last checkpoint and rinse and repeat until you do it, and that's it. By bringing in these new areas and the possibility for people to actually die in the campaign and you not to get them in the future, it actually makes you think a lot more about the mission. Because if you just charge in there gung-ho and end up getting someone killed, they're gone for your campaign. So perhaps you're thinking a little bit more about it. And the great thing about this as well is it increases replayability. If you play the campaign first time and one of your characters dies, you can go and play it again and actually have a look how the campaign changes with them alive. And it just increases the replayability tenfold. It's a fantastic addition. But the thing I am most excited about in terms of single player is all of this information we've been hearing about strike operations or strike missions. Now, apparently, these are open level sandbox missions within the single player game. Now, what happens is, you will go into a battlefield situation and there'll be groups of infantry, there'll be aeroplanes, there'll be tanks, there'll be ships, there'll be a command center, and you control the entire battle yourself. I mean, you can do it from Overwatch modes above the battle and can control them like a real-time strategy game, or alternatively, and this is the part which I really, really love, you can zoom in to any individual unit on that map and control them. So if you send a unit of rangers into a village and you see things are getting a bit hot and they're taking a bit of fire, you can zoom in and take over that ranger and help bail them out. But the really interesting thing is, if a ranger dies, you're not getting him back. If that tank explodes, you're not getting him back. They're all finite resources, It actually brings a tactical element to Call of Duty, and that's something that Call of Duty has lacked forever. Because in single-player Call of Duty, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, you get your shotgun on, you charge, if you die, respawn, charge, if you die, respawn, charge, This completely changes that. If you die and you actually lose a guy, you're much more careful about where you put him. You'll put him in cover, you'll make sure that you're not just needlessly sacrificing resources. But the great thing is, it's there if you want it. If you want to micromanage these battles, you can. But if you just want to quickly charge through them and get through them and get on with the story, you can do that as well. And player choice is something that I really, really love. I want to be able to do as many things as possible. I might not like things to do, but I want the option to be there. And these strike operations missions surely do that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how these actually play out. But I'm absolutely stoked for the information on single player. But before I end the video here, I'm just going to touch very, very quickly on zombies, because Nazi Zombies has been confirmed back, definitely going to be back for Black Ops 2, and that is fantastic because zombies It's very, very fun, isn't it? It's a fantastic game mode, and I've said before, if Treyarch actually just released a Nazi Zombies game, that would sell millions of copies, millions and millions of copies. So it just goes to show how popular Zombies is, and I'm absolutely thrilled that Zombies is back. But I have even more fantastic information for you about Nazi Zombies 2. As I've said, traditional zombie mode will return. So basically, the level system. Infinite numbers of zombies, you will die eventually, but see how long you can survive. That is the traditional system of zombies. However, they are tantalizingly hinting at a variety of zombies game modes. Now, there hasn't been anything too concrete on this at the moment, so I don't really want to speculate. But apparently, there are going to be, and this is quoting from this guy who works at Activision, Dan Amrich, so this is a pretty reliable source. He says, and I quote, there are going to be a lot of new zombies game modes, and that is fantastic news. I'm really looking forward to see what ideas they come up with, and hopefully there is some pretty original stuff. However, I have saved the best bit of zombies information till last. Now, apparently, in Black Ops 2, the Nazi zombie mode will be run off the multiplayer game engine. Now, this might not sound like much of a big deal, but what this means is Nazi zombies maps can be even bigger. They can be huge maps, because the multiplayer engine is obviously a lot better at running a lot of data at the same time. However, what's even better about this, apparently Nazi zombies can now be 8-man a side. So we could be playing 8-man Nazi zombies. This is only a could. This is what the engine can handle. There's been no confirmed information whether Nazi zombies will actually be 8-player, but the possibility is there. And if the possibility is there, it's strongly likely that they're going to do it. So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed me talking about all of my opinions on this fantastic new Black Ops 2 information, and I also hope you've enjoyed the gameplay in the background, because it's a really interesting and really hard-fought domination comeback victory. So I hope you've enjoyed that, hope you've enjoyed the commentary, and as always guys, thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.